Hi and welcome to Introduction to Music Production, Week 1. My name is Jeff Tollefson. I'm currently living in Quito, Ecuador, and I'll be your audio host for this short presentation on the basics of sound. So here's the big idea for this presentation. What is ProAmpFreTim? That's right, say it. ProAmpFreTim. Now I know it kind of sounds like I'm trying to sell you a pharmaceutical product, but I'm not. Really what it is it's a recipe for how we hear and interpret sound. And by the end of this presentation, you'll know ProAmpFreTim. So let's get started. So the first three letters, PRO, stand for propagation. And that can be defined as the movement of waves or sound for our purposes through a medium. And to help us understand this, I'd like you to welcome our visual guides, Mika and Mike. So let's say, for example, Mika has a couple of things she'd like to get off her chest. As her vocal cords propagate sound, they travel through the air until they're picked up, fortunately or unfortunately, by Mike. Now, an important piece of understanding about propagation is that what we are really talking about is speed, and the manipulation of that speed, and the perception of those manipulations. In our work in music and sound, all these factors, such as acoustics or dimension or space, and exactly how far away Mika is, or what kind of room she is in, or if there's a door to shut so we don't hear anymore, are really all concepts based on the idea of propagation. The next part of the word stands for amplitude. And amplitude can be defined as the measurement of the sound wave's energy or power. So when Mika produces a sound wave with a certain amplitude or amount of energy, it is received by Mike. And really what Mike is perceiving when he hears these sounds is the compression and rarefaction of the air. So when the amplitude is greater and produced with more energy, Mike will perceive this as loudness. And so a good way to think of this is that amplitude is something that could be measured, and loudness or softness is something that is perceived. The next part of the word stands for frequency. And frequency is the speed at which the waves pass a fixed point at any given time. So like you can see in the diagram, when the waves pass quickly, they're perceived as high sounds, and when they pass slowly through a fixed point, they're perceived as low sounds. Equalization is kind of a mix between amplitude and frequency. It's the changing of the amplitude of a given frequency or multiple frequencies. And just to review quickly, frequency and amplitude are things that are measurable, whereas whether it sounds high or low or loud and soft are things that are perceived. The last part of the word stands for timbre, one of my favorites. This is the tone quality or the spectral envelope, they'll say scientifically, of what a sound is. And really this has to do with the amount of different frequencies and the strength of each one and how they relate to each other. And this is what gives instruments their particular color or sound. So something like a trumpet will have its own spectral envelope or tone quality, same as the violin and the piano. It's what gives every instrument their individual uniqueness. So how'd you do? I know that was pretty fast, but here's Mika to summarize for you. Propagation, the movement of waves through a medium. Amplitude, the measurement of the sound wave's energy or power. Frequency, the speed at which the waves pass a fixed point at any given time. And timbre, which is the tone quality of an instrument. So how do we remember all that? Easy. ProAmpFreTim. It's the recipe for how we hear and interpret sound. And for Mika and Mike and myself, thanks for watching and listening.
Created using Amplitude.